into it, but I want to play Anthony Edwards after that game, and the T-Wolves actually won the game, but Jokic 60, 10, and 10 or something like that. Anyway, let's play Anthony Edwards praising Nikola Jokic.
That might have been the best game of my life, like, that I've been a part of. Nikola Jokic, bro. Oh my God, he might be the best basketball player I've ever seen, like, close up, besides myself, bro. He's incredible, bro. The MVP race is tough, man. I don't know. He had 60. That was crazy.
How did you guys manage just the ups and the downs of it, and how crazy it was?
We was just hoping he missed. It was at one point we was just like, bro, we hope you missed, bro. Just, because trapping him, he wasn't trapping. Like, he good. Hats off to him, man. Sure.
How about
this game, even in a loss, seems to be sparking a sea change in the way Jokic is talked about. There's a lot of people that are giving Shai Gilgeous-Alexander the MVP trophy. The Oklahoma City Thunder have the best record. Shai's having a hell of a season. But one last thing before we get to Scap, I want to read to you the tweet from Jay Williams, former NBA player, ESPN personality. The truth about Nikola Jokic: if LeBron or Steph dropped 61, 10, and 10 in a game this time of year, we'd shut down the internet and ESPN would talk about it for 2 days straight. But when Jokic does it, it's just another night. Why? Because he doesn't look the part. He's not flashy, not loud, but make no mistake, skill for skill, he's already outpacing Shaq, Hakeem, even Kareem. We're just afraid to say it. Jokic isn't just the best player in the world. He's quietly building one of the greatest legacies we've ever seen, and the media is still acting like it's a fluke. Start with Jay Williams' statement there. Agree or disagree with what Jay is saying?
It's difficult for me, Jason, because I have become known around the internet as a bit of a Jokic defender. Maybe I go a little too far in my defense and praise of him from time to time, but I think the guy is actually, until recently, has been vilified by and large by large sectors of the mainstream media, particularly ESPN, for whatever reason, has been on this hate quest of Nikola Jokic, and it's been led by Stephen A. Smith. Stephen A. Smith has voted for Nikola Jokic one time in the last 5 years for MVP, but he goes beyond that. In the last 3 years, he has been openly campaigning against Nikola Jokic. So when I see this, I feel like I have to get on my little white horse and go to battle for Nikola and try to defend the veracity of what he's accomplishing right now. But now it looks like the praise is going in a different direction. Especially, I have seen Jay Williams taking up the crusade for Jokic for the last 24 hours. And it's hard for me, Jason, to compare this era with any other eras. I think basically throughout all of NBA history, the 60s have generally somehow, for some reason, become an era where they get this asterisk because of the exorbitant statistics, the pace of play, the rate, the scoring. So a lot of people look at, what Will Chamberlain did, even Elgin Baylor in that era, and Oscar Robertson, and they kind of diminish it because of what was going on in the NBA comparatively to the other eras. But look, we've gotten to that point now from 2014, 2015-ish till present. We're basically in the 60s. When you look at the pace of play, the rate, the scoring, it's basically right there commensurate with what we were seeing in the 1960s. So, and what happened in 2014, 2015, that's right when Nikola Jokic came in the NBA. So essentially his entire era has been played in this kind of watered down defensive, standpoint that the game has reached. So it's hard for me fundamentally to say he's better than Hakeem Olajuwon or Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's difficult to say that. I think, quite frankly, though, I am at a point where I can say he is better than Shaq. I think that Nikola Jokic has put down probably a better resume to this point, I think, than Shaquille O'Neal. And I think just the tangible on-court product, you can make a pretty stunning case that Jokic has surpassed Shaq. The other guys, the upper echelon, like the 2 or 3 best centers of all time, I don't know about that yet, Jason.
Do you think there's enough momentum at his back now that he might get the MVP over Shai?
No, it's unequivocally over. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, you could just shut it down right now. We might as well. Typically, they announce it like in the first round of the playoffs, and they will present the MVP to the winner sometime in the second round in some kind of a home game situation. But we don't need to wait that long, Jason. We might as well just wrap it up right now. Just give Shai, do they play tonight? Just give Shai the MVP trophy tonight. There was a preordained movement to begin the season, a anything but Jokic movement in terms of the MVP. The writers simply don't want to give it to this guy for a fourth time. So literally they were grasping at straws when they entered the season. Please present us with anything, any semblance of some storyline to allow us to not give it to Nikola Jokic. And with the fact that the Thunder are going to win 69 or 70 games, while, I mean, the Nuggets are going to struggle to win 50, I think that's all they needed. And look, Shai is a tremendous player, and he, in his own right, is having a historically great season, Jason. It's a historically great year by Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, but it's just not as good as Jokic, and it's not as valuable as what Jokic is providing. It should be Jokic. It's not going to be. So to answer your question, the answer is unequivocally no.
Has there ever been an example of a player on a team that wins 65, 70 games that loses the MVP to a guy that's got 20 less victories? Are there any examples of that where we really have gone with the best player rather than the best player on the best team?
No, there are no examples of that. There are some examples of fatigue, like with Jordan, which is what's happening with Jokic, where Jordan probably should have gotten a couple more. 92, 93 comes to mind readily, where it obviously should have been him. Barkley got it instead. Jordan got his ultimate revenge in the finals that year and beat the Suns. But at least that, and same with Karl Malone. Look, you can make another case. Karl Malone stole the one off Jordan too, but they at least won a lot of games too. You know, they were a commensurate win level with the Bulls. Whereas, look, the Nuggets are just, like you said, 18 or 19 games below. But Jason, if you look at it real quick, I don't want to get off on a tangent here. If you look at the net rating of remove Shai Gilgeous-Alexander from the Thunder per 100 possessions for the whole year. So this is tracking data over the entire season of all the minutes that Shai was on and off the court. Per 100 possessions, if you remove Shai, the Thunder is still like +4 in net rating. Jason, that's a top 8 seed line. Like that's one of the 8 best net ratings in the whole NBA. So without Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the team, basically I'm telling you this team's going to win 51 or 52 games over with a replacement level player. So Shai has taken a 51 or 52 win team and made them a 70 win team. So he's taken a very, very good team and made them, historically great. But when you look at what Jokic has done, if you remove him per 100 possessions, the Thunder's net rating is like -3. It's one of the 4 worst net ratings in the NBA. It's right around the Washington Wizards. So what I'm telling you is if you remove Jokic, and it bears it out, he's missed 12 games. They're 4-8 in those 12 games without Nikola Jokic, which is on pace to win about 26 games. So if you take Jokic out of the equation, that team's winning anywhere between 19 to 25 games with a replacement level player. He's taken that team and uplifted them to 50 while missing 12 games and while averaging a nearly 30-point triple-double. It is an absurd season. It's arguably going to be the worst MVP snub. You can make the case dating back to 61-62 when Wilt Chamberlain lost the MVP to Bill Russell that year, the famed year where Chamberlain averaged 50 and 25 per game, Jason, and averaged 48.5 minutes per game. Think that over. He played all 80 games that year, and he averaged 48.5 minutes, 1 minute, a half minute more than the games were long because his team that year played in 7 overtime games. So that allowed him to average more. He didn't miss a second of that entire season, averaged 50 and 25, but he won 11 fewer games than Bill Russell, and Russell got the MVP.
Help us grow the Fearless Army. Pound that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with all your fearless friends.